First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
And hello, everyone. Welcome to Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. Appreciate you all joining us here today. You know, for those of you that watch us, we are live here every weekday, 1 p.m. Pacific, and I thank you for being a part of that. We're live streaming on a number of different platforms. I also want to say, if you normally listen to this, you may see that my voice is a little bit rough today. I want to explain why. So I went camping over this weekend, and I've got a 95-pound husky who decided to run off into the woods for about 2 hours while I hunted him down and yelled and screamed his name over and over, thereby doing this. So he was returned, he is back, but that is the reason that my voice is not working the greatest today. But that doesn't matter. We've got a lot to talk about, and I'm not going to be doing all the talking. We're going to be discussing a number of different things, but right now we're talking about the longest running Oktoberfest here in Portland that is returning this weekend, courtesy of Widmer. And we have right now Brady Wallen from Widmer joining us to talk about this, and excited to learn about the history of the longest running Oktoberfest here in Portland. Brady, nice to have you on here. And I figured, I'd let you explain this, the start of this, how this all got going and why it continues every year.
Sure, of course, Greg. Happy to walk you through it. I think for starters, Widmer Brothers has been around since 1984. The brothers, Kurt and Rob Widmer, started the brewery then based on a dream. And, it really started when Kurt returned from staying and studying in Germany. And so for many years, for the past 3+ decades, a lot of the beers brewed by Widmer Brothers are inspired by or riffs on what would be traditional German recipes, that Kurt experienced in his studies in Germany. And he brought that idea back to Portland and really wanted to not only showcase what he found were incredible beers, incredible recipes and styles, but do it in a way that was different, unique, inspiring. And so for that, 3+ decades, Widmer Brothers has been cranking out not only German-inspired beers, but a lot of innovative styles. And throughout the years, we've been brewing an Oktoberfest style beer. The brewery was one of the first in the country to have seasonal beers, and of course, being inspired by that German tradition, Oktoberfest was something that we've been brewing, putting out there, and then we started 19+ years ago hosting Oktoberfest as a means to celebrate the great thing that is beer.
Which is really another tie-in to the amazing beer culture here in the Northwest, and just how much it's been a part of that when it comes to craft brewing. Widmer's been right there, and just a huge thing that we've contributed to the beer culture overall in the world. And having Oktoberfest continuing on with this, let's talk about the event itself. Bringing
Sure.
that in, the celebration of the German style beers, as you mentioned, and bringing that over here to the Northwest. What is an Oktoberfest, or Oktofest as it may be called? What is that like for somebody who's attending it?
I think for traditionalists, a lot of people have heard of or attended, been lucky enough to attend Oktoberfest in Germany. I mean, you really see the celebration of beer. There's a lot of festive energy. It's big steins of beer. People gathered around communal tables. There's music. There's lederhosen. There's all kinds of delicious food and awesome camaraderie. For us in Portland, we've tried to take the best of that tradition, but put a Portland spin on it. Of course, we have things that are very suggestive of or adopted from the traditional German Oktoberfest, whether that's beer steins or the Oktoberfest beer that we talked about. But we've also got a lot of other different styles of beer that we're bringing to the table. There's live music from local Portland musicians this Saturday at the event. Food trucks, and it's in this more urban environment near the Moda Center at the Rose Quarter this year. And so for us, it's a great combination. It's a beautiful combination of kind of the traditional on the German side with Portland, our home, for a great event that we're expecting this weekend.
And over these years, what are some of the biggest changes that you've seen happen? From maybe when it started in the beginning. I'm not saying that you were there at the very beginning, but over the last years, what are some of the biggest changes you've seen in Oktoberfest
You know,
celebrations?
I think for our event, it's bounced back and forth. Certainly, we've had to deal with some challenges with the pandemic and certain social distancing expectations. But if you kind of take that out of the picture, we've traditionally held Oktoberfest at the brewery in Portland. So we're just over here on in North Portland, just on the underneath the Fremont Bridge, and that the event has grown over the years to the point where some years we can't host it in the brewery, and so we've done it at Pioneer Square. We've come back to the brewery, and this year we've got so much beer coming out of the brewery that we don't have the space to host it this year. So we're moving it over to the Rose Quarter, but not that far from the brewery. I think that the size and the energy shifts each time that we move locations or bring it back to the brewery. I think that the constant, though, is always really great people, really great beer, and tons of fun for everybody who's able to attend.
And what does it mean for you having this here in Portland and being the longest running one? Because that is, that's a good mark right there to have. That's something that's cool to have. But
Yes.
what does it mean to you to be interacting here with the Portland community for that long?
I mean, I think it's part of why I love craft beer. There's this energy and this excitement, this creativity and camaraderie that all come together. And I think for us having this date on the calendar that both is anchored in tradition, but also, something that we've tried to make our own is incredibly exciting. I think it really puts an exclamation point on all the great things that we have going on in the beer community, especially here in Portland. I mean, having everybody be able to come together, bring your friends, bring your family, enjoy the music, enjoy the food, but also most importantly, like I mentioned, enjoying the beer. It's what could be better?
Yeah, I mean, and it's clearly this time of year is a great time for celebrating Oktoberfest over a few different kinds of festivals and having this one right here in Portland. I mean, that's a really big deal. So let's talk about the beer itself, because you
Yeah.
mentioned that there's specific this German style of beer, and for anybody out there too who is not familiar, maybe not as well versed, in that, can you explain what that means and talk about this one that you have here?
Yeah, sure. Can kind of show it here real quick, but here's
Yeah.
a can of Octo Festival Ale. I think just in talking about it, we try to keep this a very approachable style in calling it Festival Ale, but really it's an Oktoberfest style. And I think for people that don't know the story, it's again based in tradition where German brewers would brew in the spring. They would age or lager the beer so that it ferments over the summer, and then tap the beer sometime on the tail end of summer, beginning of fall. And it really is a beer that's approachable and certainly one that is suitable for a party. I think that some people, might be more used to lighter beers, and this beer certainly tastes and comes across as light, even though it has a nice, rich amber orange color to it. So I mean, I think it's also, it's raining outside today in Portland. It feels like fall. I think that what better time to enjoy a beer with a little bit more roasty toasty character than now.
It is definitely feels like fall has finally come
Yeah.
here. Today is the day. Yeah, for so
Yep.
many for so many reasons. So, good time to be trying that out. I want to ask you just a question too, just a kind of a broader question, but we touched on it there a little bit ago about Portland beer culture, Northwest beer culture. What is it for you that you think that Portland brings to beer culture as a whole that makes it stand out?
I think Portland is a city and a beer community that has always anchored itself in quality and ingredients, and I think that that's the foundation for all of us. I think then we're surrounded by the creativity. We're inspired by people who want to push the envelope and do more. And so while we have beers that might be more traditional, or kind of the mainstay craft beers that you've seen for years, you've also got the brewers who are pushing it with new ingredients or working with local hop farmers or maltsters to bring new ingredients and new processes to life. I think there's an appetite here in Portland that's unmatched anywhere else in the country and perhaps the world to really try to come forward with the best possible expressions of those ingredients. And I think we're really, really lucky to have not only the people here who are as excited about the ingredients as they are the beer, but just the camaraderie and the community that we've built within the beer community. But I think that that's a beer community that allows beer drinkers much more choice, much more of an exciting, dynamic group of beers to choose from, whether at your local restaurant or at the grocery store.
It is. It's a lot of fun to just see, all the talent here and just everything that happens, and not just Portland, but I mean the Northwest as a whole too. Oregon, Washington, so many places even beyond that. So for people who want to attend Oktoberfest, can you tell them how it works? How do they get in? How does all that happen?
Sure, no problem. So Oktoberfest, as I mentioned, is on Saturday, September 30th. We're starting this year at 11 a.m. and the event runs until 8 p.m. It's at the Rose Quarter, so it's outside between Moda Center and Veterans Memorial Coliseum, easily accessible by the MAX, which is by design. It's an all ages and free event, and so you can bring your family, you can come on down. Of course, beers and food are available for purchase. As we have in years past, we have commemorative steins and beer tokens available when you walk in. And throughout the day, we'll be featuring live music. We have, as I mentioned, some food and some different food trucks that are going to be showing up. There's, even some balloon artists and face painting for the kids, which has always been a hit in years past. And so I think, it should be a really fun, awesome day for anybody from, the casual beer drinker, someone just looking for a good time with a couple beers with their friends, or bring your family on down.
Well, Brady, thank you very much for joining me here to talk about this too. And, congrats on this long of having this event going on. And, you're hoping for some good weather this weekend, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be Oktoberfest. I think it's the Northwest. Everybody's used to the rain, so it's back. And regardless, it's going to be a great time. So thanks very much for joining us here on Fox 12 Now to talk about this.
Great to be here. Thanks, Greg.
And thanks to all of you joining in and tuning in too. Again, I'm Greg Nibbler. We do have a lot more coming up today. So coming up at 1:30 p.m., I'll be talking to Medical Teams, a nonprofit based here out of Portland that helps people really all over the world. We're going to be discussing them and their goals here for the Oregon Charity Championship, which is coming up. And at 2 p.m., I'm going to be talking to a group that encourages K through 12 students around Oregon to participate in robotics tournaments. Yes, tournaments with robots. I'm not sure I don't think it's all like robots fighting each other or anything like that, but we're going to get into it here coming up. So we'll be talking about robots, and all of that's here on today here for Fox 12 Now. So thanks for joining us. I'm going to sign off for now. I'll be back in a few. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.